Hello, I'm Alex Whitmore, and we're here at the Taza Chocolate Factory today to make some frozen custard. We're going to be making a really simple frozen custard or ice cream today using Taza stone ground chocolate, and we're just going to get started. It's very simple. There's only 4 ingredients in the entire recipe. We're going to be using some half and half, something that I've decided that over the years when I've practiced making ice cream or frozen custard, I've found that I want something richer sometimes I want something thinner. I've tried combining heavy cream and milk, and I've found that a half and half works just perfectly as a balance between the two. So we're going to put 4 cups of half and half into a pot here. Going to get it heating up for us while we get going. All right. And once we have this heating up, we want to make sure we stir that regularly. And in the meantime, we're going to make ourselves a little mixture of egg yolks. We got 6 egg yolks here, and we got about a cup of sugar. We're going to whisk these. Get the egg yolks broken up. Nice and slow. You don't want to overbeat the egg yolks. We're going to pour in our cup of sugar. We're going to mix this up into a nice thick paste. And we're not going to over whisk. We're just going to once it's totally incorporated and we have a little cream going on, it starts turning a nice light yellow color. As you can see right here, it's starting to get a little lighter. You don't want to have the whisk going too fast. Now that we have those fully incorporated, I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to keep whisking our cream while it heats up. And that's the first part of the process. All right, so our half and half is heated up here. It's just about at a simmer. We just want to wait until we see sort of some bubbles start popping up. There they are. And what we're going to do now is take it off the heat. I'm going to just let it rest for 1 second. We're going to get some water on here for our bain-marie. We're going to put this mixture right on top of that there. And then we're going to take our chocolate. I'm using Taza Stone Ground 70% dark chocolate. Has a very bright, fruity flavor, which really pops out nicely with the cream when it's frozen. And it's, of course, Taza chocolate, so it has some texture to it, which adds some liveliness to the custard. We're going to put in our chocolate, let that melt in the cream mixture. This is 1 pound of chocolate. You can make smaller batches. The recipe is entirely modifiable in that regard. We're going to whisk the chocolate in just gently. It's going to make a hot ganache as the chocolate melts in there. You don't want to whisk too aggressively because you don't want to start whipping or aerating the mixture too much. You just want to make sure all the chocolate gets melted down into the cream. It's about mixed in. We have our ganache, we have our sugar and egg yolk mixture. We're basically just going to start slowly pouring this into the egg yolk mass. You whisk in pretty aggressively at first, and then once it's kind of incorporated, you can just pour the rest of it in. All right. Now we have this custard base that we're basically just going to heat up a little bit over a bain-marie, just very gently with heat. You don't want to let it get too hot, otherwise you'll cook the egg yolks and you'll break the custard. So we're just going to let this heat up for a little bit. We're going to mix it regularly. I'm going to stop using a whisk and start using a spoon just because we don't want to incorporate too much air at this point, and we don't want to have it heat up too much. And we don't really need to heat this up too much. We just want it to thicken slightly. We want the egg yolks to thicken slightly in the mass to make a little bit more of a thick custard before we put it in the freezer. This whole process will take about 7 to 8 minutes. So we're just about here. The custard is thickening. As you can see, you put in a spoon, it very heavily coats the back of a spoon. You get a nice thick custard. You want to make sure you don't cook it too much. It takes, like I said, about 7 or 8 minutes. And once it's about this thickness, you can remove it from the bain-marie. And at this point, you want to let it cool. If you're using a smaller home ice cream maker, you want to make sure it's nice and cool. You can put it in the fridge covered to make sure it doesn't form a skin on the top, and let it chill down entirely before you introduce it to your ice cream maker. You can use just about any ice cream maker that you have around or that you can find. It doesn't need anything special. We're going to be using a nice snazzy one here, left over from our chocolate lounge days. And as soon as this cools, we're going to pour it right into this machine and start making some frozen custard. So now that we've got our nice cool custard, we're going to introduce it to an ice cream maker. Now this is probably not what you have at home. Most people have some sort of device where you keep something in the freezer and then it mixes. But it's the same principle. You have something that agitates and you have something that will cool the ice cream as it freezes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our custard, we're going to pour it into our ice cream maker. There we go. We're going to get it started. And once it's been introduced to the ice cream maker, it'll mix. Depending on your ice cream maker, it'll take anywhere between 35 to 40 minutes to an hour. And we're going to let this run and come back then. So it's been about 40-45 minutes. As you can see, we have a nice frozen kind of soft serve consistency here. It's ready now to be put into a container to firm up in the freezer for a couple hours so you get a nice firm frozen custard. The consistency right here, you can see there's a nice firmness to it. So we're just going to take this, put it into a bowl, and or you can just eat it right out of the machine. Cheers.